Alright guys, we're gonna do the FreeCodeCamp JavaScript course. It's 300 hours, I think. And we're just gonna be using these videos as a means to document my progress and hold myself accountable to completing all these challenges and doing all these lessons. So we'll start from the beginning and then we'll go down from there. So the course is titled JavaScript, Algorithms, and Data Structures. And there's a little blurb here. While HTML and CSS control the content and styling of a page, JavaScript is used to make it interactive. Also, I have music playing in the background. I have some lo-fi going, so we should turn it down just a little bit more so it's not as intrusive over my voice. But yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy this little docu-series, if you want to call it. So where were we? While HTML and CSS control the content and styling of a page, JavaScript is used to make it interactive. In the JavaScript algorithm and data structure certification, you learn the fundamentals of JavaScript, including variables, arrays, objects, loops, and functions. Once you have the fundamentals down, you'll apply that knowledge by creating algorithms to manipulate strings, factorialize numbers, and even calculate the orbit of the International Space Station. That sounds pretty cool. Along the way, you'll also learn two important programming styles or paradigms: object-oriented programming and functional programming. Ad blockers. So first section is called Basic JavaScript. JavaScript is a scripting language you can use to make web pages interactive. It is one of the core technologies of the web, along with HTML and CSS, and is supported by all modern browsers. In this course, you'll learn fundamental programming concepts in JavaScript. You'll start with basic data structures like numbers and strings. Then you'll learn to work with arrays, objects, functions, loops, if-else statements, and more. So, this is the course we're going to get started. So the first lesson is comment your JavaScript code. Comments are lines of code that JavaScript will intentionally ignore. Comments are a great way to leave notes to yourself and to other people who will later need to figure out what the code does. There are two ways to write comments in JavaScript. Using double slashes will tell JavaScript to ignore the remainder of the text on the current line, and this is called an inline comment. So double slashes, and then you write this is an inline comment or whatever you want to comment out, and JavaScript will ignore that line. You can make a multi-line comment by beginning it with the / asterisk and ending it with an asterisk /. This is a multi-line comment. So again, / asterisk, and you can write out whatever comment you want that spans multiple lines, and then you conclude the comment with an asterisk and then followed by a /. Note, as you write code, you should regularly add comments to clarify the function of parts of your code. Indeed, this is very important. Good commenting can help communicate the intent of your code, both for others and for your future self. This is also a very great point because I do programming in other languages like Java and Python and Ruby, and sometimes like you could take breaks from working on projects or anything like that, and then if you don't have comments in your code, sometimes you forget like what certain parts of your code are supposed to do or why you structured them the way you did. So utilizing comments is a great way to be able to get back up to speed on whatever you're working on. So the challenge is to try creating one of each type of comment. So you should create a double slash style comment that contains at least 5 letters, and a multi-line comment style that contains at least 5 letters. So we'll just start saying this is a comment, and we'll do this. Oops. This is also a comment. And just like that, run the tests, and first lesson is complete. So you can submit, control, and continue on to the second lesson. This lesson is declaring JavaScript variables. In computer science, data is anything that is meaningful to the computer. JavaScript provides 8 different data types, which are undefined, null, boolean, string, symbol, big int, number, and object. I never knew about big int. think this might be an ES6 update, but we'll learn as we go on. For example, computers distinguish between numbers such as the number 12 and strings such as 12 in quotes, or dog, or 1, 2, 3 cats, which are a collection of characters. Computers can perform mathematical operations on a number, but not on a string. Variables allow computers to store and manipulate data in a dynamic fashion. They do this by using a quotes label to point to the data rather than using the data itself. Any of the 8 data types may be stored in a variable. So variables are similar to the x and y variables you use in mathematics, which means they're a simple name to represent the data we want to refer to. Computer variables differ from mathematical variables in that they can store different values at different times. We tell JavaScript to create or declare a variable by putting the keyword var in front of it, like so, variable, or var rname, creates a variable called rname. In JavaScript, we end statements with semicolons. Variable names can be made up of numbers, letters, and $sign or underscore, but may not contain spaces or start with a number. Use the variable keyword to create a variable named myname. And look at our name example above if you get stuck, so this should be pretty simple. So variable myname, and we don't need to assign it anything or give it a value, just have to declare it. So Control Enter, and challenge number 2 is complete. So we'll keep going here. Third lesson is called storing values with the assignment operator. In JavaScript, you can store a value in a variable with the assignment operator. My variable equals 5. This assigns the number value 5 to my variable. If there are any calculations to the right of the equal operator, or the assignment operator, excuse me, not just equals, assignment operator. I gotta put my math head aside for a second. Those are performed but before the value is assigned to the variable on the left of the operator. So variable my variable, we're declaring a variable called my variable or my var, and then we say my var is equal to 5. First, this code creates a variable named my var, correct? Then the code assigns 5 to my var. Now if my var appears again in the code, the program will treat it as if it is 5. So the challenge now is to assign the value 7 to variable a, and then we should do that. So I guess it doesn't want us to do it inline, so we're just going to do a equals 7 here. Run it, and we're 3% of the way done, guys. Let's go on to the next challenge. The next lesson is assigning the value of one variable to another. After a value is assigned to a variable using the assignment operator, you can assign the value of that variable to another variable using the assignment operator. Variable my var equals 5. Then we create a new variable called mynum, and then we set mynum equal to my var. So now mynum will have the value 5. The above declares, and this is basically what's the text breaking it down. The above declares a my var variable with no value. So this is the first line. Then assigns it the value 5. Line 2. Next, a variable named mynum is declared with no value. Line 3. Then the contents of my var, which is 5, so from line 2, is assigned to the variable mynum. Now mynum also has a value of 5, so that's done here. So if I was to, I guess in a little bit we'll learn about console login and stuff like that. You can, if I was to log this in the console, or if I was to log mynum, it'll pull back 5. And if I do my var, it'll also pull back 5. So that's kind of like if you wanted to see this in action. So here the challenge is to assign the contents of A to variable B. So we declare the variable A, we set A equal to 7, we assign 7 to A, then we declare the variable B, so now we want to say B is equal to A. And if we run this, it's complete. So, hold on. I wanted to just see. So you can see here, if we write, this is, again, we're going to learn this as we come on. I'm just using some prior knowledge of the language here. So we're going to say variable B, and then it says variable B is 7. And then if we were to do the same thing and say variable a and then log a, it also says 7. So this is basically what we're doing here. And this is us seeing it in action of what each variable now is being assigned as. So we'll keep going. We're now in lesson number 5. Initializing variables with the assignment operator. So this is what I was talking about earlier about basically doing declaring and initializing or assigning variables on the same line. So it is common to initialize a variable to an initial value in the same line as it is declared. So we're declaring a variable called myVar and we're assigning it a value of 0 or the value of an integer 0. This creates a new variable called myVar and assigns it an initial value of 0. Define a variable a with var and initialize it to a value of 9. So it's very straightforward. We're going to say variable a is equal to 9. Oops. And if we just run that, and that's it. Cool. Now we're on lesson 6, understanding uninitialized variables. When JavaScript variables are declared, they have an initial value of undefined. If you do a mathematical operation on an undefined variable, the result will be NaN, which means not a number. If you concatenate a string with an undefined variable, you will get a literal string of undefined. So here it says initialize the 3 variables a, b, and c with 5, 10, and IMA respectively, so that they will not be undefined. So first one is 5, 10, and this is our string IMA. And if we do that, that works. We'll continue. Understanding case sensitivity in variables. In JavaScript, all variables and function names are case sensitive. This means that capitalization matters. MyVar in all caps is not the same as myVar, where the first letter of the first word and the first letter of the second word are uppercase, and it's not the same as myVar, which is in all lowercase. It is possible to have multiple distinctive variables with the same name but different casing. It is strongly recommended that for the sake of clarity that you do not use this language feature. Agreed. Best practice. Write variable names in JavaScript in camel case. In camel case, multi-word variable names have the first word in lowercase and the first letter of each subsequent word is capitalized. Examples. Variable sum variable. You can see the first word, sum, all lowercase. Then the second word variable, first letter is capitalized. Same thing here. First variable name is another variable name. First word, all lowercase. Second word, first letter is uppercase. Third word, first letter also uppercase. And you can see this is the convention keeps going on and on and on, depending on how long or how many words your variable name has. So the challenge is to modify the existing declarations and assignments so their names use camel case. Do not create any new variables. Okay, so studly cap var just needs to be changed to studly cap var. Proper camel case. Don't need to use that. I guess we can just copy that, paste it over, just so we can get rid of those errors. And then here's just title case over. Copy that over, just to get rid of that, and that's it. So again, if you wanted to just test that out, see what our variables are doing, if we use studly cap var here, and it's gonna print out 10. And we can do the same thing with proper camel case, and it's gonna print out a string, and title case over, it's gonna print out 9,000. So yeah, that's what our, whoops, what I messed up. You should use camel case in both declaration and assignment sections. What did I mess up? Studly cap var. Did I misspell it? No, it's spelled the same way. Did I? Okay, so steadily cat bar worked. I don't know what's going on here. Hold on, we'll reset and just take a look at this again. We'll just copy and paste that over. Title case over. So these two down here are confirmed. There we go. Okay, so I don't know what the issue was. I might have just misspelled it or capitalized a letter that I shouldn't have, but we figured it out. Add two numbers. The next lesson is called Add Two Numbers with JavaScript. Number is a data type in JavaScript which represent numeric data. Also, I think I should mention that if you wanted to ever remember the types of data types used in JavaScript, remember this acronym. I think it was Basin or Boson. Which was Basin, yeah, because it was supposed to rhyme with Jason. So B is Boolean, A is array, S is string, O is object, N is number, and I think I'm forgetting what the second N was. Basin, JavaScript. Okay, well, that doesn't matter for now, but you get the idea. It's just an acronym to help you. I'm pretty sure it's just Basin with one N. A little distracted, but let's keep going. Now let's show the add two numbers using JavaScript. JavaScript uses the addition symbol as an addition operator when placed between two numbers. Or I should say the plus symbol as an addition operator when placed between two numbers. Example, my variable, my var, equals 5 plus 10. So my var now has the value of 15. Change the 0 so that the sum will equal 20. So we can do this as 5 plus 5. We can do this as 10 plus 10. We're just going to do this 10 plus 10. We'll run our code, and there we go. Subtract one number from another with JavaScript. You can also subtract one number from another. JavaScript uses the dash, hyphen, or the minus symbol for subtraction. Example, my var equals 12 minus 6, so my var will have the value of 6. Change the 0 so that the difference is 12. The difference is 12, so if we do 45 minus 23, that should be 12. So it should be 33. See, I'm not good. I could have math. Alright, challenge complete. Multiply two numbers with JavaScript. We can also multiply one number by another. JavaScript uses the asterisk symbol for multiplication of two numbers. Example, my var equals 13 times 13. My var would have the value of 169. Change the 0 so that the product will equal 80. So easy, 8 times 10 is 80. You can verify that by just logging the variable product, and you can see it's 80. Simple maths. Keep going. Oops. Ask me later. Divide one number by another with JavaScript. We can also divide one number by another. JavaScript uses the forward slash symbol for division. Example, my var equals to 12 forward slash or divided by 2, which means that my var now has a value of 8. Change the 0 so that the quotient is equal to 2. So that is pretty straightforward, 33. And if we console.log quotient, you should see 2. 2 times 33 is 66. Okay, keep it going. Increment a number with JavaScript. You can easily increment or add one to a variable with the double plus operator. So I plus plus is the equivalent of saying I equals to I plus 1. No, the difference, what was this, postfix? This postfix expression, right? JavaScript? Right, postfix, it's x plus plus. Yeah. So the entire line becomes I plus plus, eliminating the need for the equal sign. Change the code to the double plus operator on my variable. So my var equals to 87. We want to increment this by 1, so we can just remove all of this, add the double plus plus, and if we were to log it, you should see that my var is equal to 88 now. Keep it going. Decrement a number with JavaScript. You can easily decrement or decrease a variable by 1 with the double minus operator. I minus minus is the equivalent of saying I is equal to I minus 1. The entire line becomes I minus minus, eliminating the need for the equal sign. Change the code to use minus minus operator or the double minus operator on my var. So we declare a variable called my var, set it equal to 11, or assign it a value of 11. Then we want to just shorten this operation here, remove the assignment, and just put the double minus. If we log it, you should see that it's equal to 10. Cool. If you run that code, should be good to go. Next lesson is to create decimal numbers with JavaScript. We can store decimal numbers in variables too. Decimal numbers are sometimes referred to as a floating point numbers or floats. Note, not all real numbers can accurately be represented in floating point. This can lead to rounding errors. I think it's going to be taken up from a Mozilla document or Wikipedia. Well, you can read this if you're interested in learning more. I'll probably read it after I finish recording here, but if I even remember. So the challenge is to create a variable called myDecimal and give it a decimal value with a fractional part. Example given 5.7. I don't know, EG doesn't stand for example given, but anyways, so variable myDecimal is equal to 3.14159. Right, pi. Keep it going. Multiply two decimals with JavaScript. In JavaScript, you can also perform calculations with decimal numbers, just like whole numbers. Let's multiply two decimals together to get their product. Change the 0.0 so that the product will equal 5. So, simple. 2 times 2.5 should give us 5. If we log this, there it is. Divide one decimal by another with JavaScript. Now let's divide one decimal by another. Change the 0.0 so that the quotient will equal 2.2. So quotient will equal 2.2. Okay, 4.4. If we were to log this, 2.2. Well, what's the problem? It is. I've signed only once. Is it not happy with me console logging? We'll comment that out then. Okay, yeah, I wasn't happy with that. Finding a remainder in JavaScript. The remainder operator gives the remainder of the division of two numbers. I think this is called modulus or modula. 5% 2 is equal to 1 because, well, if you divide 5 by 2, you get 2, but you still have a remainder of 1. So this is basically going to return 1 because that's the remainder. The leftover number from when you're doing the division. As you can see here, 2 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1, so that's our remainder. In mathematics, a number can be checked to be even or odd by checking the remainder of the division of the number by 2. So if you wanted to see if a number is odd or even, we just do that number divided by 2. And if we return the remainder, it's odd. If we return 0, it's even. So here we have an example: 17 divided by 2, our remainder is 1, so 17 is odd. 48 divided by 2 is 0. Well, 48 divided by 2 is not 0, but we get a remainder of 0, so which indicates that 48 is even. So note, the remainder operator is sometimes incorrectly referred to as the modulus operator. Okay, so I was wrong. It's not called modulus. It is very similar to modulus, but does not work properly with negative numbers. Okay. Set remainder equal to the remainder of 11 divided by 3 using the remainder operator. So variable remainder here is equal to 11% 3, which should be 2. It is. Compound assignment with augmented addition. So this is the plus equals. In programming, it is common to use assignments to modify the contents of a variable. Remember that everything to the right of the equal sign is evaluated first. So we can say my variable is equal to my variable plus 5. To add 5 to my var, since this is such a common pattern, there are operators which do both a mathematical operation and assignment in one step. One such operator is the plus equals operator. Variable my var is equal to 1, my var plus equals 5, so now my var is equal to 6. So 6 will be displayed if we were to console log my var. Convert the assignments for A, B, and C to use the plus equals operator. So we want to say we declared A, so that equal to 3. We want to add 12 to it, but also do the operation and assignment at the same time. So we're just going to say plus equals 12. Then here we have B is equal to 9 plus B. Just going to do plus equals 9. Same thing here, plus equals 7. Whoops, plus equals 7. And that's pretty simple stuff. And this is the subtraction version of it. So this is called compound assignment with augmented subtraction. Like the plus equals operator, the minus equals subtracts to a number from a variable. My var is equal to my var minus 5 is the same. It will subtract 5 from my var, which is the same thing as writing my var minus equals 5. So we eliminate the extra use of the my var key variable name. So now we want to convert the assignments for A, B, and C to use the minus equals operator. So we have A, B, and C here, all have values. So just remove that. Something here, minus equals. Something here, minus equals. And we should be good. How long have we been recording? Coming up on half an hour. So we'll wrap up a few more. I think when we reach 20%, we'll call this video. And then we'll pick up in the next section of exercises. Compound assignment with augmented multiplication. The start equals operator multiplies a variable by a number. My var is equal to my var times 5. We'll multiply my var by 5, which can be rewritten as my var multiplication equals 5. Convert the assignment for A, B, and C to use the start equals operator. So again, variables A, B, and C. Don't want to keep reusing our variable names. Just gonna do start equals. Oops, wait, hold on a second. So we want to do start equals 3, not start equals B. And here, start equals 10. And there's one for division. Compound assignment with augmented division. The slash division equals operator divides a variable by another number. Right, / equals my var is equal to my var divided by 5. We'll divide 5 by my var by 5, which can be rewritten as / equals 5. Convert the assignments for A, B, and C to use the / operator, the slash equals operator. or the division equals. So here, get you, get rid of you, and get rid of you. Donezo. This is all pretty simple stuff. So now we're getting into strings, which I think is where we're going to end the video. So declare string variables. Previously we have used the code variable my name is equal to your name, double quotes. Your name is called a string literal. It is a string because it is a series of 0 or more characters enclosed in single or double quotes. Create two new string variables, my first name and my last name, and assign the values for first and last name respectively. So we just variable my first name is equal to John. My name is actually John, but for the purpose of just this exercise, John there. And that's 20%, guys. So we're gonna start the video there. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.